Hello and welcome to Trains, Planes and Automobiles. Right, the ship we're talking about today is the 1942 HMS REDOUBT, an interim design which took the successful features of the two predecessors and combined them in a utility ship which was quicker and cheaper to produce and much better suited to the general fleet duties. In all, some 16 ships of the combined class were constructed over a 14-month period, the first HMS Quality being launched in October 1941, the last being the HMS REDOUBT in December 1942. By this time, any notion of maintaining the sort of build quality which had been in pre-war British warships had gone completely by the board, and they were roughly finished. Nonetheless, the standard was high enough to ensure that the four R-class ships retained in British service after the war were extensively rebuilt to serve an anti-submarine frigate. REDOUBT was not amongst them. She was launched by John Brown's on the Clyde on the 2nd of May 1942. She saw out the Second World War and was transferred to India in 1949 to serve as the ranjit. She was stricken in 1979 after a 37-year career. She had a range of 6,000 miles. She had a speed of 37 knots, which was pretty fast in World War II. The hull form on which the Q's and R's were based was that of the J class, which had been the last British destroyers to be designed before the outbreak of the Second World War in 1939. They were the first in British service to have longitudinal framing, a system which had first been tested in the Denny-built prototype Ardent in 1913, and for the Q's and the R's this was modified by the addition of a transom stern, which had been introduced in the Fiji-class cruisers at the same time. They were never to receive the best of the 4.7-inch 120mm guns, which were then available, the 50 caliber Mark 11, but they were fitted instead with four 45 caliber Mark 9s in a single mounting. The armament of the rebouts, in addition to the four 120mm Mark 9 quick-firing guns mounting singly, 2 forward and 2 back. REDOUBT also had 2 PDR pom-poms in a single quadruple mounting and 2 quadruple sets of 21-inch 533mm torpedo tubes. One of these sets could have been exchanged for a single 4-inch 102mm AA gun, but the modification was never made. During her career with the Royal Navy, she received an additional 40mm Bofors and 20mm liuke AA guns, and the depth charge capacity was increased from 45 to 70. Prior to being handed over to the Indian Navy in 1949, her torpedo tubes were removed and she was fitted with a new radar suite. The HMS REDOUBT, she was a fleet destroyer. She had 2 shaft Parsons geared turbines giving a total of 40,000 shp. She had a length of 109.2 meters or 358 feet. She had a beam of 10.9 meters or 35.7 feet. She had a weight of 1,705 tons as standard or 2,425 tons as deeply loaded. She had between 175 and 225 crew.